had in seeing a lot of those players develop, the Liam Ryans of this world, the Josh Kennedys of this world, the Judd McVees, the Jack Carrolls. How exciting it is that we've been able to see those players firsthand get their first kick of footy and go on and play AFL level, and of course been contributors through, and many of those even played a little bit of Junior Country Week on the way through. So it's a great story, and it's really very nice to think back about the family connections that we have with all those people and all those players, and it's a really special occasion. It's probably, I've been lucky enough to be around and be a part of footy, but I guess I could have given it away some time ago, but I've stuck with it because I love the game and I love the people involved, and I thank you and Radio Mama for all your support in recent years.
Yeah, Glenn, I love coming to football each and every week, partly because I call the footy with you, and I've done a few country weeks with you as well, and it's certainly been a pleasure. And I'm looking over toward the scoreboard, Glenn, and I'm thinking, now I know why you're very critical of scoreboards, because that's where you started your career, wasn't it?
That's right, yes. And now they've taken it away from me. Now they have electronic scoreboards, many of them. But yeah, that's probably why my maths is so good, Peter, because I spent the time on the scoreboard. But it was on the outside of Nabwa Oval, of course, on the big scoreboard, and that was where I learnt my love of the game, really, and being able to call the game, although many people around used to say, "Shut up, Glenn, you're there to look after the scoreboard, not tell us who's getting a kick." So I've started at a very young age, and I've carried on and have been calling footy for such a long time, and I love it, and I'm very lucky that I've been supported along by all the radio stations that I've had along the way, so it's very nice, and I'm still able to do it through Radio Mama, and I'm very pleased about that.
I'm trying to look at the windsock. I can see it now, Glenn. It is, like last week, blowing quite stiffly to a southerly direction, so whoever wins the toss will, I think, elect to kick toward the Augusta Street end, because it's about a 2 to 3 goal breeze.
It is. It's a very handy breeze, as you said. As we saw last weekend, Railways were gallant, but they weren't good enough to beat Northampton, the reigning premier. They'll start as clear favourites today. They weren't favourites last week, but they were very good, and I'm looking forward to seeing Railways back with some key players back in their lineup. But Rovers, to their credit, they've come up with a pretty formidable side. They have the work to do, there's no doubt about it, because we know Railways are formidable because of their fitness, and you saw that last week, Peter. They just continue to run. They've got good game plan. Everyone on the page of Railways knows how they go about it. They do it very well, and they will be expecting to do well today, but I'm sure Rovers will put their best foot forward. About to get this first quarter underway for Community Bank Geraldton on Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football. Glenn Barnden and Peter Forenza calling the footy today, and we're doing it today in the GNFL for Active West Real Estate. And the game is coming from Red Dust Holdings Recreation Ground. This is Drennan O'Malley Motors game day, and Railways hosting Rovers. And if you want to see a good game of football, come on down to the rec this afternoon. Umpire Brian Cohen puts the ball into the air, and we're underway in this first term of our match of the day. Ball goes the way of Rovers. Rovers quickly get the ball forward through Thurston. He gets it up towards half forward. In goes another Rovers player there. Can't control the ball. Slaps it forward now. Umpire's picked out a free kick. It'll go the way of a Railways player, Mitch Boyle, who got his hands kicked, and he gets the free kick and gets a handball quickly onto the player there in Elliot Delaney.
Heads out to the Francis Street side of the ground. Railways in this term kicking toward the Augusta Street end, so they have 2 to 3 goal breeze at their back. Rovers off the half-back flank now. They go down that wing. Kicking into a stiff breeze, as I've alluded to. The ball on the half-forward flank now. Goes away of Huggins. He sends it inboard. In turn, it's picked up by Matthew Kimberley. He goes further afield into the middle of the ground. It's picked up almost by Simpson. Simpson knocks it forward with his boot. Gives it away to a teammate in Corbett. Corbett shoots on goal, and that's a nice goal to start off the campaign for Railways. They are one straight goal. Rovers yet to open their account.
Dylan Corbett, of course, a former Northampton player. Long history, the Corbett family with Northampton, and he's made the change, come over to Railways this year. Played reasonably well last week, but he's got away to a good start today. Dylan Corbett, very, very clever, very, very fast player. Gets his first goal of the day, and probably his first goal for Railways, I think. And well done to Dylan. And he played some really good footy last year, but he unfortunately got injured, Peter, at Country Week. He was playing some really good footy, and then he wasn't able to get back into the grand final side, which is disappointing to him and disappointing to everyone involved.
Was it a badly dislocated shoulder, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very bad, yes.
Okay, ball back in the middle now, and as we've just mentioned, first blood goes to the Blues here at the recreation ground. Great, beautiful sunshine this afternoon. Up they go. McConnell knocks it down, but Boyle straight to ground, picks it up, spins around on a 50-cent piece, but kicks it into Denton. Denton tries to get over a couple of players. He too loses possession. Coming back through the pack, though, is the Railways player who eventually gets it onto his boot in James Huggins into the half-forward area, but Rovers are there to spoil the party. Off the half-back line they come now, but out to the wing. The direction wasn't good, and the ball is picked up by Nathan Subby. The JJ Clune medalist. Two of them he's got. He sends it down to a player there who did pretty well on that occasion. Talking about Jesse Adamini. Played well last week. Off to a good start for this season. But again, it's almost like playing tennis. Rafa Nadal to Federer as it goes back to the outer side. Rovers. No sorties forward yet, but they've had just as much possession as their opponents. The ball coming through the middle of the ground now. Goes away of Denton. He struggles to pick up the ball. He's almost caught in possession. The ball comes out wide. Rovers a boot into the half-forward area. Curley comes out. He's beaten by Corbett. It's the opposite number on this occasion. Corbett goes one way, then the other, straight down the corridor, but finds the strong hands on this occasion of Jager Williams.
We did believe Dale Wallen was going to play today, but I haven't seen Dale as yet. Ball comes back into play. Railways have the ball on the back pocket. Get it away at Ted Kerr. Ted Kerr, he was very good last week, as he has been since he started playing footy. He's a very good sports person, is Ted Kerr. Ball very close to the boundary line. Boundary line still in play. Umpire says the ball was knocked over, so the boundary umpire will throw the ball in on the Francis Street side, on the backward side of the square, just in line with the square at the southern end. The breeze is favouring the other end of the ground, or the city end of the Red Doves Holdings recreation ground. The big fellas go at it, and a good knock taken there by Chris Scott, who's doing the rucking. Goes to ground, goes the way of the player there in Sean Brennan, comes back across the ground, and the player with the ball now, Rovers youngster, looking to get the ball on now. He does so, gets the ball forward, does Jai Thurston, gets it forward, goes to a teammate, that teammate's tackled, ball spills, picked up by Denton. Denton goes back across the ground and picks out Clay Azevedo.
Clay Azevedo. The pink boots in front of our broadcast position, sends it further afield. He's looking for the hands there of Jacob Troy. Troy too late to the contest. It's picked up now by Railways, who send it back down the wing, back in front of our broadcast position. Goes the way of Jesse Moore. He's quickly brought to ground and has been pinged for... No, the umpire says no prior opportunity there, so the ball will be thrown up just in front of the big grandstand here this afternoon. Up they go. McConnell knocks it down, gets it out to Corbett. Corbett figuring early, puts it into space, but coming through the pack now is that youngster in Dempsey Morrell. Morrell sends it down the middle of the ground, but straight onto the chest of the defenders for Railways. Tunbridge, a veteran player with the side now, kicks to the outer side. I think he finds Huggins there. Huggins on the Francis Street wing. He likes playing there. He plays his best footy there. That's what we saw. James Huggins off the half-back line now. Sends it inside the centre square. It bounces just out to in favour of Railways' end of the ground. Players dive on top of it. No one can get purchase, and the umpire runs in to relieve the pressure.
And our umpires this afternoon are Brian Cohen, Dale Pearce and Darren Bryce, doing the job for the GNFL this afternoon. 6 minutes gone in this first term, with thanks to our friends at Community Bank Geraldton, the one-stop bank, as Rovers are under pressure as Railways player in Kimberley goes forward, and he was very good last week as well. Matt Kimberley, he's always good, very consistent, one of the most consistent players in the Railways lined-up, and they've got a few of them, but Matt Kimberley leads the race, and he'd be the first picked every week, I would say. Ball to be thrown back in, from the boundary throw-in, deep in the pocket, ball slapped forward, goes the way of a Rovers player there, he can't pick it up, in goes the young man in Sean Brennan, very close to the boundary line, ball spills, picked up now by Mitchell Boyle for Railways, kicks it towards the boundary line, but the ball is out of bounds, and I think the ball might be out of bounds on the full, it is, so Rovers get the relieving pressure. So the Rovers defence with the ball, sends it back along the Francis Street side of the ground, very close to the boundary line. Once again, it's out of bounds on the full, so out of bounds on the full to out of bounds on the full, but the breeze is probably pretty tough out there, so we'll let the Railways player. Kicked the ball deep into attack. There goes his kick. In towards the half forward. Looking up there for the centre half forward and Shaden Edwards. Ball carries that player. Picked up now by the Rovers player in Chris Scott. Chris Scott, the coach this year in 2024 for the Demons, kicks the ball along the boundary line and sees the ball out of bounds. Just saw his assistant coach, Ian Comben, and he's had a knee reconstruction. So Ian helping out this year. And what he says, it may be his last year in senior footy, but I've been hearing Ian say that for about the last 10 years. But he won a few grand finals on along the road, so it's well worth that he didn't give it away. He's still given a lot to footy and still got a lot to give. Ball comes in from the boundary throw and goes the way of the player there in Egan. He couldn't control it. Jesse Adamini can. Grabs it on centre wing. Kicks it up towards half forward. But nobody home there except Jai Thurston for Rovers.
Thurston, a nice little tip kick out to the wing. Rovers do something with it. They go backward before coming forward. The ball goes the way of the speedster there in Sean Brennan. Brennan at 6 and 7s of where he wants to put the ball. He accepts it back, deep in defence now. Sends it down the wing and finds the strong hands down there. So I think it's Scott that has the ball, is it? We'll see. On the half-back line now. He kicks it further afield to the wing. Rovers starting to slow things down. Not many sorties forward, as I've mentioned, as the ball comes in now. On the far side, the umpire, no, slowing things right down almost to a chess game here this afternoon, Glenn, as it comes in now. And there,
slowed him down.
There is Scott. Scott kicks it into the half-forward area. Tries to put into space for his runners to run onto. Azevedo does that. He runs inside the forward 50. He should nail this one, but he's inaccurate. It's all too quick on this occasion. And through for the minor score.
On the Adam Hunter scoreboard, we have Railways 1 behind and Rovers. Railways are 1 goal, I should say. Rovers are 1 behind. So it's a very low-scoring game, as you mentioned, Peter. Almost halfway through this first term, with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton. And Rovers, they have been able to stymie Railways' movements. So Railways under pressure now, getting the ball out through Tubby. Goes the way of a teammate there, who was Tubby, and gave it towards Tunbridge. Tunbridge gets it away of Tristan Simpson. Tristan Simpson on centre wing, playing against the club he played for last year. Kicks it up towards half forward. Ball running free. Rovers can do something now, but they got rid of the ball just in the nick of time, did the young player in Glenn Prosser. Glenn Prosser can't control the ball. Railways go forward, or Rovers go forward, and Rovers will get a free kick, I think. So, yeah, Rovers will get the free kick on the outer side. So, Rovers will go back and send the ball forward from centre wing, outer side. And it may be Prosser. Let's see how Rovers go. Can they set something up? Big kick up towards half forward. Ball off hands. Picked up now by a Rovers player. Ball spills. Jacob Troy was that player. Ball comes to the ground. Railways have an opportunity through Delaney. Gets it away. Goes the way of Kimberley. Kimberley, beautiful short pass and finds Nathan Tubby. Nathan Tubby, JJ Clune medalist a couple of times. Gets the ball forward, looking for Jesse Moore. Ball comes to the ground. Picked up and rove beautifully by Boyle, who feeds it out towards Blake Bunter. Blake Bunter puts it on his left boot. Railways get the ball up to their forward 50, but Rovers' defence work hard. The Rovers players turned it over. Rovers got a kick forward through Thurston. Picked up now by Railways, who shoot on goal. It was a pretty good effort from Dion Drage from 50 metres on a 45-degree angle. And on the Adam Hunter Accountant scoreboard, Railways are 1 goal 1. They lead Rovers 1 behind.
Thurston doing a lot of mopping up for the Demons at the moment, Glenn, and holding sway somewhat. I think the Railways might have a few more goals on the board. 10.5 minutes gone in this, the first term. Thank you to Community Bank Geraldton. Ball coming out of defence now. Coming back the way of that player in Thurston. Just takes the mark just in time. They don't get any distance to the Demons as they come out toward the broadcast side. The ball is kicked out on the full. So the game at the moment, Glenn, is a little bit slower than the one we watched last week.
Isn't it amazing? The Rovers have been able to stymie Railways, and Railways, who were superb last week, taking a while to get the skates on today, but a good bit of play there from Ben Saunders, but the ball's turned over, so it goes straight to the arms of the Rovers defender there. And
Kobe Bursell.
Kobe Bursell clears up and goes out wide, and Kobe's a good young player, good tall boy, and gets it out along the boundary line on the outer side. So free kick will go the way of the hard-working Thurston. He plays on now, gets it forward up towards Tommy Collins. Tom Collins on centre wing for Rovers. Goes further up towards half forward. But once again, the big man stands in his right, and Ruben Ulrich is that player. Ruben Ulrich, who played well last week, gets it over towards Kimberley. He pays it on, gets it to the player in Ted Kerr. Ted Kerr breaks through the centre, gets it up towards half forward where he finds Ben Saunders. He feeds it out to Dion Drage. Drage kicks it up towards the forward 50. Ball goes out of bounds. There'll be a boundary throw in. 12 and a half minutes gone in this first term for Community Bank Geraldton. And on the Adam Hunter scoreboard, it is Railways 1-1. They lead Rovers 1 behind.
Deep in attack now for the Blues. It's Railways, and it comes down in front of their club rooms. The Rovers defenders working hard, holding sway. A couple of players are almost caught in possession. A player is brought to ground. The umpire says no prior opportunity. The ball will be thrown up just in front of the Shadows, which are in front of the goals for Railways at the Augusta Street end. Up they go, going to ground. The Rovers have possession. Thurston's working overtime down there this afternoon. And this is the early stages of our Drennan O'Malley game day. The ball is bottled up once again. So the score, 1-1. Railways plays Rovers just the 1 point. Railways have a 2 to 3 goal breeze at their back. Have they used it enough? As the ball goes away of Campbell, I think it is. He sends it out into space. It was picked up by Boyle. Boyle for Railways. Sends it back inside the corridor. Goes away of Simpson. Simpson in turn uses his head. Sends it outside the forward 50. And the ball is marked by Elliot Delaney. Elliot Delaney playing down the ground this afternoon. Always a forward in early part of his career, but turned into somewhat of a backman last season. But Elliot Delaney. He'll kick this from just outside 50 when he gets onto it, but as I said, a 2 to 3 goal breeze at his back. Let's see what can happen. He knows how to score a goal, does this fella, and he doesn't let his side down. That's the second goal of the afternoon for Railways. They go to 2 goals 1, and Rovers just the 1 point.
But as you say, Peter, it would be fair to say that it's a 3 goal breeze, so Railways just about to get their value for effort, but they need to get a few scores on the board. Rovers to this stage have been able to keep them under wraps, but we know Railways are a pretty fit side, and that may be the concern as the day unfolds, because we'll see them continue to go. So Delaney did well then, Elliot, and Elliot has got his first of the afternoon. So interesting scoreline on the Adam Hunter Proprietary Limited scoreboard, the accountant, and it is 2 goals 1 behind. Ball back in the centre. Dale Pearce to throw the ball into the air. We're at Red Dust Holdings this afternoon at the recreation ground. As the ball comes out of the centre, goes the way of Dion Drage. Drage feeds it back. But the colours are a bit similar. He handballed it straight to a Rovers player, and Rovers through Tom Denton were able to go forward. Tom Denton gets it up towards half forward. Goes the way there of Rovers. Clayton Dan cleverly throws it on his boot. Tries to get it out the front of a hard-running player there in Jacob Troy. Jacob Troy's 50 metres from goal, screws it around the corner, looking there from Bursell. Bursell couldn't control it. Rovers can. Jesse Adamini puts a handle on it, and from centre half back, slams the boot into it. Big torpedo up towards half forward, looking there for Ben Saunders. Saunders cleverly knocks it on towards Jesse Moore. Jesse Moore grabs the ball, 30 metres, kicks it forward, but it's cut off again by the player there in Prosser. Glenn Prosser kicks it forward, looking again for Brennan. Play-on's the call, comes back to Dalton Jones, comes back to the Railways player in Mitchell. He feeds it out to the hard-running player there in Jordan Williamson. Jordan Williamson sets sail for home, a big kick, but he's offline only, 1 point only, I should say. Offline. He kicked a couple of really good goals last week, Jordan Williamson. A very, very capable, fast-running player from 50 metres. He kicked 2 goals last week. A good performance. So, on the scoreboard for Adam Hunters, the accountants, it is 2 goals 2-14 for Railways. They lead Rovers 1 behind.
Ball coming out of defence now. 16 minutes gone in this the first term, so getting close to the quarter-time break. Rovers, are they doing enough to hold sway here this afternoon? As we mentioned, a 3 goal breeze favouring the Augusta Street end. They haven't had too many sorties forward, but going forward, the plan doesn't seem to be working at this stage for the Red and Blacks, but time will tell. The ball coming in now, knocked down by Kobe Bursell, goes to ground, comes out now. The Rovers player there in Campbell, he sends it down the ground. finds the chest of a teammate who runs out. So the ball's going to be thrown in just in front of our broadcast position for Radio Mama. So the game is at an interesting situation at the moment. If Rovers can get a goal here before the break, one would think that things are quite even out there as the ball comes in. A free kick has gone the way of Kobe Bursell. Starting to have an impact is Bursell. He sends it into the half-forward area. I saw a player running from the back and Dylan Curley, but he was a little bit too late. The ball is marked by Corbett. Corbett goes across the ground now to the half-back area. Always away through Adamini. Adamini to Tubby now. Tubby across the middle of the ground. Sends it out towards Saunders. Saunders does well, doesn't take the mark initially, but has paid it in the end. Yeah,
Railways certainly do have a height advantage as they go forward. A handball to Mitchell Boyle. Mitchell Boyle spears it in towards Damien King. He was good last week, kicked 3 goals. A good, talented young player. So he'll shoot on goal from 40 metres out on a 45-degree angle. And I'd say, as we head towards the time-on period, Railways would get true value for the wind at their back in this term. So Rovers' performance has been good in this first quarter, thanks to Community Bank Geraldton, but they just haven't got the score on the board that they needed. So let's see how Damien King goes. He's let the ball go through. A good kick from the left footer. Great goal. Railways get their third of the afternoon on the Adam Hunter Accountant Scoreboard. Railways go to 3-2. They lead Rovers 1 behind. And as we head towards time on, Railways would like to get a few quick goals to get the value for the breeze at their back.
Radio Mama at 8:30 each and every Saturday, a Sportshed Saturday, Glenn. And today we were lucky enough to speak with West Coast Eagle Jamie Cripps. It was interesting to talk to him about the mentoring that goes on at the West Coast Eagles.
Yes, there's plenty of support there, as you'd expect at a professional club. And it was great to hear that he has a coach, of course, that looks after him in Knight. And he also has opportunities if he needs other support. So that's wonderful to see, but it's great insight, and you don't get that anywhere else.
Second oldest in the team, Glenn.
Yes. Time goes, as we know, Peter. We were talking about it earlier. Ball comes out of the centre, goes the way of Jesse Adamini. Gets it away to the ruckman and McConnell. He gets it over towards the player there who gets slung out of it. Once again, Adamini recovers, grabs the ball, sends it forward, and gets it to his teammate deep in the pocket. So Railways could still get 2 or 3 goals at the time-on period if they're lucky. So Jack Osborne, we know Jack's a very good kicker of the football. He's just in front of the Railways club rooms. So Jack Osborne, 40 metres out, right on the boundary line. He'll kick it from about 5 metres in from the boundary line, just in front of the club rooms. Puts it on his left boot. Ball fades away to the left-hand side, 1 point only. On the Adam Hunter Accountant Scoreboard, Railways go to 3-3, 21. They lead Rovers 1 behind. So Railways got the ball forward quickly there as Rovers look to take the ball out. The umpire is telling someone to go somewhere, and you've got to stay out of the arc apparently. So the Rovers player has moved out, and now Rovers will take 2. They take the ball out towards the grandstand side of the ground, and the ball slapped forward. And it goes off hands through for a out of bounds just in front of the Rovers, in front of the Railways club rooms here at Red Dust Holdings Recreation Ground.
Let's thank Mitchell and Brown that bring us Sportshed Saturday each and every week, 8:30 to 12. The ball coming out of the pack now. Goes the way of the Railways custodian there in Jesse Adamini. He knocks it forward, but it goes back over toward the boundary. Mitchell Boyle back in the lineup this week. Will he play out a whole season? I think the Blues faithful would hope so. Looking at retiring in recent years. Ball coming over the back of a pack there. Goes the way of the Railways player, and Williamson, who shoots on goal quite nonchalantly in the end, and only going through for the minor scores.
Looked a bit random effort, didn't it?
It did.
Bang.
Yeah, it certainly did. 3-2, I think it is, or 3. To Rovers, just the 1 point, Glenn.
So the ball will be brought back into play. We're into time on in this first term with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton, your community bank, your one-stop shop all week, but particularly on Saturday mornings. Ball comes forward from the Rovers defenders, getting it upfield. Pack around the ball. Can Railways get another goal? They'd be pretty happy if they did. Railways shoot on goal again through Jesse Adamini. Ball drops short, and the Rovers defenders do well. Get the ball forward. Rovers get the clearing kick off half back. Player there was Tom Collins. Tom Collins gets it further afield and picks out Jack Campbell. Jack Campbell, another short pass, finds Clay Azevedo. So Clay Azevedo has the ball right on the boundary line, just in front of the Railways coach's box here at Red Dust Holdings Recreation Ground. He kicks it up towards centre wing position. Ball goes the way of Nathan Tubby. He couldn't control the ball, and a Rovers player is pushed to the ground, and they're getting a bit of a push and a bit of shove. And the Railways player, is the bottom of that is Jager Williams, and the ball comes out, and the Rovers player, for whatever reason, thought that was unacceptable, and the ball will go the way of the Rovers player, and that's Tom Collins. So Jager Williams stands his ground. Jager Williams gave away the free kick. Ball comes forward. Good mark taken there by Railways, and Ruben Ulrich. Ulrich goes across the ground, picks out Nathan Tubby. He feeds a handball out towards the player there in Saunders. Saunders kicks it further afield, looking for a Railways run. Jesse Adamini has that, runs around the man, runs towards 40 metres, then goes back inboards looking for some movement and some support. Finds the player there. Adamini gets tackled, thrown to the ground. So Railways find it very hard to get through that Rovers defence.
The Rovers defence is really holding up at the moment.
Yeah, they are working really hard. They're probably, doing well when you consider 3 goals is what the Breeze is worth. So Rovers' first quarter has been full of merit, but Railways probably have had a bit more of the ball and probably have been a little bit wasteful or haven't had a finishing touch, whereas Rovers haven't been able to get the ball very often in their forward 50 at all.
Ball coming out of defence, they're tackled. Sorry Glenn, they're playing with the ball a little bit casually of the Rovers side.
Well, there's nowhere for them to go, I don't think.
They lost possession. Coming back to Railways now as they send it inside the corridor, over the back of the pack. He's finally got his just desserts. Good work by Jesse Adamini, and he scores the 4th goal of the afternoon for Railways.
Yes, he probably deserved that one because he's been working very hard. Clearly Railways' best player at the moment, Jesse Adamini. And, a very strange way for that Rovers defender to try and keep the ball up. You can't try and take a screamer in a situation like that in the back line. Might be all right to do that in the forward line.
I was perplexed by Stuart Egan. He didn't know where to go, did he?
No.
That sort of was the start of it all unwinding.
So Jesse Adamini gets his first of the afternoon. First goal, that is, but he's had plenty of possessions. So goal scorers for Railways, Dylan Corbett, Elliot Delaney, and also the player that kicked 3 goals last week and doing pretty well for his side, Damien King is the other goal scorer.
Ball back in the middle now, and it's won by Railways on this occasion, coming out the way of Williamson. In fact, it's Boyle straight into his boot, into the half-forward area, inside the corridor, but there he is again. A little speedster coming out of defence. He's doing well for the Demons. Almost finds the chest of a teammate, just as the whistle, I should say the siren sounds, to indicate that it is quarter time in Adrenaline Valley Game Day. It is Railways who hold sway. Railways 4-4 lead Rovers 1 point, and you're listening to Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football.
Mama, the home of local footy, Glenn Barnett and Peter Forenza. Quarter time, and Railways doing pretty well. They had the breeze at their back. Railways 4-4, 28 lead. Rovers 1 behind as we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Lara Dalton, the member for Geraldton. And it was a wasted quarter for Chapman Valley with the breeze at their back. They kicked 0 goals, 5 points, and Brigades kicked 1 goal against the breeze. So will that be too costly for Chapman Valley? So it's a 1-point ball game out there at GBSC Sports Park. It's a 27-point ball game here at Red Dust Holdings Recreation Ground. And looking at the Railways goal scorers, Dylan Corbett, Elliot Delaney, Damien King and Jesse Adamini, 1 apiece. For Rovers, they haven't got a goal scorer yet. Peter, you're looking at the contenders of the Skeeters Restaurant Player of the Day from Rovers. Who did you like in that first quarter?
No particular order. 3 players that stood out for me: Kobe Bursell, Jai Thurston and Prosser.
And better players for Railways, Jesse Adamini continues on where he left off last week. Mitchell Boyle showing his class. Ruben Ulrich and Drew Tunbridge working well in defence. And as always, Matthew Kimberley. Ball back at the centre. We're underway in this second term. This quarter with thanks to Melissa Price, the member for Durack. As we see the ball go the way of Mitchell Boyle, feeds it out towards Jesse Adamini. He throws it on his boot, looking for Blake Bunter. Blake Bunter back in the lineup today for Railways. Gets a handball back towards Mitchell Boyle. He gets it across to a teammate then, Shaden Edwards. Back it goes to Blake Bunter. So Railways moving forward. They have the ball within 70 metres of goal. They're right on the boundary. Big kick from Railways player there in Williamson. Jordan Williamson gets it towards the centre half forward position or full forward position where it's picked up by the big fella in Damien King, and Damien King shoots on goal. That's his second goal of the afternoon, and Railways in the first 45 seconds of this term get their first goal of the term and showed Rovers how it's done.
Yeah, the breeze hasn't let up at all, Glenn, so it is a 2 to 3 goal breeze, and they did pretty easy there, finishing off with a nice goal that played a lot of time and certainly made the most of it. So early stages of the second term, Railways have a hold on this game at the recreation ground. This quarter brought to you by Melissa Price, the member for Durack. Hello to Melissa if you are listening. I spied you at the long table lunch at Skeeters last Sunday I should say, and it was a big weekend for shore leave, and everyone had a good time. The ball back in the middle now, going the way of Railways, goes away of this player, the little general. I'm talking about Boyle. He sends it to the outer side looking for Shaden Edwards. He doesn't take the mark, but has a second bite of the cherry. Dives on top of it, but loses possession once again. Thurston is up against. He did well to the youngster. Knocks it forward to the outer side. Going back the way of Shaden Edwards. Railways at 6s and 7s as it goes again to the Blues player there in Jager Williams, but loses possession as it comes into the middle of the ground. And the player there to intercept on this occasion is Prosser. Prosser down the middle of the ground. He's dealt with when he gets rid of the ball, but the umpire said nothing in that. The ball goes to ground, coming toward the boundary now. Player running onto it, tries to dive on top of it, can't get possession. I'm talking about Delton Jones. He goes to ground for a second bite of the cherry. And the ball is bottled up. The umpire says, I'll throw it up, boys, just in front of the big grandstand here at the recreation ground.
And just repeating that score we had from quarter time out at GBSC Sports Park with thanks to Lara Dalton, the City of Greater Geraldton. At quarter time, Chapman Valley are 5 behinds. They trail Brigades 1 goal, and Chapman Valley had the breeze in the first quarter. So it'll be interesting to see what Brigades do with the breeze in the second quarter, because it'll be very similar to the game here today. Ground runs the same way, so it will be a pretty handy breeze out there at GBSC Sports Park. Boundary umpire puts the ball back into play just in front of our Radio Mama broadcast box here. Ball slapped forward, goes the way of a Railways player who's tackled while not in possession, and it'll go the way of Mitchell Boyle. So Mitchell Boyle has the free kick. He's getting a lot of possessions. Goes with a short pass, finds Jager Williams. Jager Williams stands his ground. So Jager Williams looking for some movement, comes across the ground, finds Blake Bunter in the centre. Blake Bunter, the centre of the ground, goes out towards the Francis Street side, draws a player through Tunbridge. Handball goes the way of the player there in Adamini. He goes up the field, finds Nathan Tubby. Tubby from half forward centres the ball and finds Jordan Williamson. And Jordan Williamson is 45 metres out, kicking into the teeth of the breeze. But as I mentioned, Jordan's got a good kick on him. But he goes with a short pass, seeing some movement. Finds Tristan Simpson. Tristan Simpson deep in the right or left forward pocket. Screws the ball around, looking there for the young fella for Railways who couldn't hold the ball, and Rovers defended can get the ball clear, and it goes the way of Delton Jones on halfback.
Jones now, he doesn't look where he's kicking the ball, goes toward the boundary. Under pressure, he coughed it up somewhat, and the ball spills over. Lucky not to be out on the full. About to be thrown in on the broadcast side of the ground. The recreation ground in great nick this afternoon, as are all the grounds currently in the GNFL. Even out at Mullawa a couple of weeks ago, Glenn, even though they haven't had the rain, the oval's looking mighty fine. The ball going to ground on this occasion. That's brought down by Drage, and he didn't have it, as Glenn said, and Drage now will have the free kick. So Drage, he'll kick toward the Shenton Street end. He's kicking it inside the forward 50. Looking for that player there who recently scored for the Blues. We're talking about Damien King. The ball eludes him, but goes the way of Kimberley, who check side kicks straight through. Railways begin to pile them on here at the recreation ground.
Yes, 5 minutes gone in this second term, and Railways starting to show that they have got the superior skill and the superior run this afternoon. Matthew Kimberley still running hard, gets his first goal of the afternoon, and on the scoreboard this afternoon for GBSC, we can tell you that it is an interesting scoreline. Railways now 6 goals for, lead Rovers 1 behind. So 6-4 in favour of Railways and 1 behind for Rovers. Ball back in the centre. Umpire to get the game underway again in the early stages of this second term. Well, thanks to Melissa Price, the member for Durack, and Dale Pearce to put the ball into the air. And his other umpires this afternoon are umpires Darren Bryce and Brian Cohen. Dion Drage gets the best of it, slaps it to the ground, goes the way of young Delton Jones, feeds the handball out, looking there for the player who was pushed in the back, and he will get the free kick. And that's the captain, or the coach of the Rovers side, in Chris Scott. So Chris Scott will get the free kick on the centre of the ground. So Chris Scott to go forward.
Incidentally, Glenn, Rovers wearing black armbands today, and that is, of course, for someone who they lost during the week.
Yes, the ball goes forward, goes up towards the forward line, picked up now by the young player in Dylan Corbett. He couldn't control the ball. Ball comes back towards Dion Drage, pack around the ball. In goes the Rovers player, fights hard, clears the ball, does Collins, and eventually gets it out to a teammate, and that teammate is Sean Brennan. Sean Brennan has got the free kick. He was pushed in the back, gives it the way of the player there.
Oh, what a
kick from Farron Parfitt. And Farron Parfitt has kicked a magnificent goal from 55 metres. And if you ever wanted to get a lifter, well, Farron Parfitt has done that. A magnificent goal, Farron Parfitt. The first goal of the afternoon for Rovers.
Of course, it's a Pass family that we remember today, and the
Wendy,
passing
yes.
of Wendy.
And our thoughts are with the
yes.
Pass family. A great Rovers family, and very sad news, the passing of Wendy in recent times, Wendy Sealander.
Yeah, that was a big kick by, and he's uncanny when we talk about that particular player in Farron Parfitt, isn't he?
He is. he just does those things that keep you at the footy.
Yeah, certainly.
It was exceptional.
Certainly impressive, and he was about 55 metres out, almost on the run, and straight through the middle. Rovers needed that goal is an understatement, and on the scoreboard it is 6-4 plays 1-1. Rovers have a 3-goal breeze at their back. Let's see if they can use it now, but Railways have certainly made it difficult by getting the first 2 goals in this particular term. The ball coming out of the middle of the ground, going the way of Campbell. He sends it into space, and Neville's away. It's a nice big kick by Neville, straight down the middle, over the head of a couple of players. And Rovers score their second goal in a row. 2 big beauties from Neville and also Parfitt. And Rovers may be pulling their opponents back in the early stages of the second term.
And as you say, Peter, with the breeze at your back, this is what players need to do, isn't it? Use the ball. We saw Farron use it well. Farron Parfitt, that was, with the first goal from 55 metres. Dwayne was a little bit closer, but he still used it well. And 2 big long kicks. Got the value for effort, got value for the breeze, and that's why it's pumped up. That's why they need to use the ball quickly.
That old fella used to say.
At Albany, an Albany commentator.
He said, kick it, that's why they pump it up.
Yeah, kick it, son, that's why they pump it up. So there's not a good, truer saying, is there? And particularly when you've got the breeze at your back. Get the ball in there quickly and get it in there long, and who knows. And as we see, all of a sudden, Rovers have got a couple of quick goals, their first 2 of the afternoon. Ball back in the centre. MJ McConnell slaps it to ground. In goes the Rovers players. They're pushing the ball forward again. Tom Denton slaps it out. Comes the way of a teammate there. And Rovers get it forward through Clay Azevedo. He didn't get much distance. Got a little bit of height. Goes the way of Jesse Adamini, who's caught in possession. And Rovers are really having a purple patch here. And if Dwayne Neville can get the ball on quickly, and he does, kicks it towards full forward, but there's no one home for Rovers on this occasion. The Railways defender's left on his own. He couldn't believe his luck, and a good bit of play there, and Railways can clear now. Railways get the ball out through Tunbridge, gets it up the ground, and finds a teammate, and that teammate is Kerr. Kerr goes out towards the Francis Street side, where he finds Nathan Tubby. Tubby with a short pass up along the boundary line, finds Matthew Kimberley. Kimberley with another short pass, picks out a teammate. So Shaden Edwards this time. So Railways going back to their proven possession game, moving it forward, goes the way of Tristan Simpson. After he marks, he kicks it up towards half forward. Beautiful pick up by Ben Saunders. Feeds it out by hand to a player there in Mitchell Boyle, but Ben Saunders has given away a free kick. He had hold of Farron Parfitt and paid the penalty. So Farron Parfitt relieves the pressure for Rovers.
Farron Parfitt kicks to the outer side, the Francis Street side of the ground, but the intended target, or was there one? Certainly isn't there. It's marked with the half-back flank now by the Blues. They send it inboard. A nice mark is taken by Jacob Williams. Starting to get a few possessions this afternoon is Williams. The kick isn't a good one. It bounced in front of a couple of players, but no one can get possession or purchase to the footy. The ball goes away eventually of Rovers through Troy. Troy sends it inboard. Finds a teammate there, and that teammate is Tom Denton, the JJ Clune medalist. He sends it further afield. Rovers still have possession. Can they set something up into space? Can they make something out of nothing? The Railways defenders certainly put paid to that as Tubby comes across the back of goal and finds a teammate there. So Railways defending at the moment at the Augusta Street end. Jesse Moore goes up and takes a nice mark just out of the shadows of the big grandstand here at the recreation ground. Jesse Moore back from suspension in the preliminary final last year. He's been a mainstay of the Railway side for some time as they go across the ground now, trying to switch play into space. It goes. Rovers can make something of nothing here as the ball goes away of Brennan. Brennan too busy worrying about the player and not the ball. The ball spills free. Goes back the way now of Rovers. Brennan gets it again, but he's set upon by two players who bring it to ground quite comfortably. The umpire says he certainly had no time to get rid of it. The ball will be thrown up just inside the forward 50 for the Demons.
And on the GBSC scoreboard, 6-4 Railways, 40. Lead Rovers 2-1-13 as Railways clear the ball through Kimberley. Go by hand there to Tubby. Goes the way of a Railways player in Saunders. Saunders' big long handball finds Mitchell Boyle. Mitchell Boyle takes one bounce, runs across the 50-metre line, shoots on goal, and a fine goal there to Mitchell Boyle. He was dealt with after he got rid of the ball, so he would have got a kick again, I think. But doesn't matter anyway. He gets a score on the board, and all of a sudden, all the hard work Rovers has done is
you got to watch that, Glenn, what happened to Mitchell Boyle in the latter stages of that passage of play, because in the AFL I've seen them give another kick after that as well.
Yeah, so you've got to be very careful. The umpire's talking to the player, and I guess it was an opportunity there. You can't have thought it was vicious enough or ferocious enough, but Mitchell Boyle, a good goal. And on the scoreboard now for GBSC, it is Railways 7-4-46. They lead Rovers 2-1-13. We've played 13 minutes in this second term with thanks to Melissa Price, the member for Durack, on Drennan O'Malley Motors Game Day, coming to you from Radio Mama. We're the home of local football.
Yeah, the beautiful recreation ground. Great place to watch and play football. Ball coming out of the middle now, and it sends it forward and almost loses his pants on that occasion. Talking about Jordan Williamson into the half-forward area, but he gets it away. It's picked up by Saunders now. Chip pass inboard, and he finds Adamini. So a little bit too easy on that occasion. Adamini only about 20 metres out from goal. He's on a 45-degree angle, but one would think that one of the marquee players in the competition in the last couple of years, Adamini, should nail this one, but maybe it's more of a angle than what we can see, Glenn, but he's close enough to come around the man on the mark if he needs to, but he doesn't need to. But he should have, because it went away far to one side and through for the minor score.
Yeah, so a wasted opportunity there. But to Railways' credit, they've got the ball back in their forward 50 on more occasions in recent times to recover from the 2 quick goals that Rovers got. So the ball to be brought back in. And it's with Farron Parfitt. Farron Parfitt looking for some movement. Comes out towards the broadcast box side of the ground. Railways player got the free kick away there. Free kick given away by Railways' Shaden Edwards. Got in the back of the Rovers player on that occasion. As Rovers go forward, goes the way now of the player there for Rovers. And Rovers get the ball forward. So there's a ball to come forward. Centre wing. There goes his kick. Kicks it up towards half forward. Pack into the air. Ball comes forward. And goes away now to Jesse Adamini. He goes with a short pass. The Railways player goes forward. He met solidly. But Matthew Kimberley's there. Feeds the handball out. Finds Ben Saunders. Goes back towards Matthew Kimberley. Kimberley kicks it up towards centre wing. Looking for Mitchell Boyle. Francis Street side. Mitchell Boyle goes back. Hands it over towards Ben Saunders. Ben Saunders goes up the ground and finds his teammate there. That teammate is Shaden Edwards. Brings it inboard. Centre half forward. Good mark by Jesse Moore. Jesse Moore, big kick up towards full forward, looking for the big fella. Ball running forward. And well done by the player there, Jordan Williamson. And Jordan Williamson finished very, very quickly and got the score on the board. Was it Jordan?
Yep.
Jordan Williamson, yeah. So he's got his pants back on now and he needs to get some new elastic, I think, at half time, or maybe a new pair of shorts, Railways shorts, because he finished that off really well. So well done, Jordan. And on the scoreboard for GBSC, it's Railways 8 goals 5, and they lead Rovers 2 goals 1. So it's been a very good quarter from Railways. Railways have kicked 4 against the Breeze, and Rovers 4 against the Breeze, I should say, and Rovers have kicked 2 with the Breeze.
Full back in the middle now. The last goal scored by Williamson, the toe poke, and it was a very opportunist goal, and got the result that Railways needed. Ball back in the middle now as we head to the middle stages of this Drennan O'Malley game day. This quarter brought to you, as we've mentioned, by Melissa Price, the member for Durack, great supporter of local football. Ball back in the middle. Players setting themselves. Up they go. It's knocked down. The Rovers player almost got a hand to it. It came down in front of him, and that's Tazwell. The ball is in dispute as Adamini gets it. He handballed it to a player who wasn't ready for it, but the ball spills free. Through comes Bunter. Bunter, a nice little chip kick into the half-forward area. And there's Williamson again. He's got a bit of time. He gets rid of it probably a little bit too early. Misses all in sundry. And the ball goes out on the full.
Yep, 16 and a half minutes gone in this second term. Well, thanks to Melissa Price, the member for Durack. So an opportunity for Rovers to clear. So Rovers can clear through Prosser. He goes out towards the Francis Street wide side, and good mark taken by Tom Denton. Tom Denton getting the ball forward now, but nobody home for Rovers, and Railways can clean her up, and they do. Railways player, though, runs himself into trouble, and the umpire gave him the benefit of the doubt because he didn't have any prior opportunity, and the umpire will throw the ball up. It's good that we still play prior opportunity here because we don't see a lot of it sometimes at AFL level these days. The ball comes up and down, and now the ball is in dispute again, but it spills out. Goes the way of Matthew Kimberley. Matty Kimberley gets it by hand. Finds the hard-running player there, Williams. Williams goes by hand to Bunter. Back towards Williams. Jager Williams. Big kick up towards full forward, but it's cut off beautifully by Glenn Prosser. Prosser kicks the ball forward up towards centre wing, but the ball is recovered again by Kerr. Ted Kerr for Railways. And he kicks the ball up towards half forward where he finds his teammate there and gets the ball forward in King. King gets it up towards half forward and he finds his teammate there in DeAndre.
Teddy Kerr probably playing 2 games of sport this weekend. He is first division player for his hockey side as well, Glenn. So he certainly is a pretty good sportsman in our competition. Going overseas in a few weeks' time, so he'll be lost to both hockey and football. The ball coming out of defence now. As I speak about him, he gets the ball, tries to put it onto his boot. In fact, that player was Elliot Delaney. Kicks into the man on the mark. Rovers can set something up here. The ball coming out in front of that player who was unable to collect it. Goes to ground. Rovers have another opportunity, strangely enough, but they go to the player, not the ball, and the ball spills free, but still in dispute. A third bite of the cherry as they dive on top of it inside the forward 50 for the Demons, waiting for the umpire to blow his whistle, and waited quite a while and eventually does it. And the ball will be thrown up now, just metres away from the goal for Rovers. Can they get another goal before half-time to make this game a little bit more interesting? Up they go now. The ball goes to ground. Coming through the pack, though, is Azevedo. Azevedo goes one way, then the other. He's pretty clever, this guy. Gives it away to a teammate. That player is knocked to the ground and caught in possession, and Railways get away out of jail on that occasion.
So Railways can mop up. Goes the way of Nathan Tubby. He goes out wide, finds Matthew Kimberley. He goes with a short pass and finds Elliot Delaney. Elliot Delaney still on half-back, just in front of the scoreboard, which sees Railways 53, leading Rovers 13. We're heading into time on now in the second term, with thanks to Melissa Price, the member for Durack. The ball is on the outer wing. Ball spills, goes the way of Jesse Moore. He goes by hand, looking there for a teammate, but Rovers have the numbers. Rovers still working hard. Ball very close to the boundary line. There'll be a boundary throw in the true centre wing position, Francis Street's side. Beautiful day for football. Round 2 of the GNFL Premiership season today for Active West Real Estate. As the ball to be thrown back in on Dredden O'Malley Motors Game Day on Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football. Glenn Barton and Peter Forenza on a Saturday afternoon, enjoying the footy. The ball comes forward now, picked up by Tommy Denton, the JJ Clune medalist. Denton kicks it forward, looking there for Clayton Parfitt. Parfitt's being held, or Parfitt's holding a Railways player apparently, and the free kick will go the way of Railways. So Railways will have the key free kick in the back line.
Time ticking away, and this is the first half of a Dredden O'Malley Game Day. I would think Rovers do need another goal to stay in the race. The ball comes out of defence, now goes away of Kimberley. Kimberley for the Blues on a half-back flank, sends it further afield. Running through is Huggins. Huggins now down the line, looking for support from Williamson. Williamson goes up a little bit too late. The ball spills free, goes toward the boundary and finds the white lines. The ball will be thrown in now in the shadows of the grandstand here at the recreation ground. Bit of push and shove by players, getting to know each other quite well. The ball about to be thrown back in now. So the scoreboard reading, 8-5 to 2-1 in favour of the Blues. Got a handy lead, one would think, going into the second half. Rovers certainly haven't used the breeze. About a 3-goal breeze favouring the Augusta Street end. Bunter is brought to ground, but can't get rid of the ball. And the umpire says, give it to me, boys. He had no prior opportunity. The ball goes up now, on the way of the Rovers player at the bottom of the pack, who tried pretty hard on that occasion in Bradley Roworth to get rid of it, but he was a little bit too slow and caught in possession.
So once again, Railways are steadying. They have a very, very good game plan. It's working well. They get the ball out wide, looking there for Nathan Tubby. Nathan Tubby, name synonymous with Railways, gets the ball forward to a teammate, and Railways have it again. And they get the ball forward through Jamie Huggins. In fact, it was Drew Tunbridge gets it up the ground and finds Ben Saunders. So Ben Saunders on half forward to send the ball deep into the forward pocket, where he finds the young man there in Damien King. So Damien King, right on the boundary line, right on the left-hand side of the goals, shoots towards goal, centering it pretty well, ball running free. Rovers player knocks it to ground, but Railways still in the opportunity there. Railways bloke gets pushed out of it. The Railways player is Jack Osborne, and Jack Osborne will get the free kick. And Jack's a left footer, so he can use it well, but he decides to play on quickly, and he finds Jesse Adamini. Jack could have used the ball very well, being a left footer in that right forward pocket, but he cleverly shared it to Jesse Adamini. Jesse Adamini has kicked a goal this afternoon. He lined up for one earlier but missed it. He kicked one goal, but he could have had two. So Jesse Adamini now lining up for his second goal of the afternoon. Breeze grabs it again, takes it away to the left-hand side. So on the scoreboard for GBSC, the company that Jesse works for, goes to 54, and they lead Rovers 13.
Glenn, it's interesting, isn't it? I was just looking at Jack Osborne. I'm sure he lined up for the Demons last year, playing for Railways this year. The movement within the GNFL, we talked about it before, is incredible. It
is. There's certainly a lot of player movement, but the ball comes forward now as Railways goes forward again, and Railways get a goal there through Jack Osborne, so the player you were talking about. So Jack gets a goal for his club. Yeah, I think he played for Towns a couple of years before that. So, yeah, there's a lot of player movement, but I guess he must think there's more opportunity here at Rovers and at Railways, I should say. So we wish him well as we see the scoreboard
a bit
roll
like
over.
NBA basketball, isn't it? It's,
yes.
The players are running the show.
Well, we're talking to a young man today, Fraser from The Guardian, and Fraser
Williams, yeah.
Fraser Williams from The Guardian, and he was sort of saying that young blokes like to play, and you would see it at school where blokes stick together and they go and play for a footy club or go play for a basketball team, where it didn't matter once. You didn't have to like the person you played with, but you played with them. But now it's a little different.
It certainly is. Ball coming back to the middle now. Railways have a handy lead in this game this afternoon. It is 9-6 plays 2-1 in favour of the Blues. Adamini, he's been electric this afternoon. Hasn't had to do much, but racked up a lot of possessions. Comes out to Jager Williams and out to Simpson. Simpson in front of our broadcast position, wearing the orange boots. There's pink, orange, blue, green. They're all of several different colours this afternoon as he sends it in. The mark isn't taken. The ball spills free. The veteran, and Jesse Moore dives on top of it. Celebrated a birthday earlier this week, did Jesse? I won't try and remember how old he is, but he's going to be giving the ball up to the umpire because he'll be balled up just inside the forward 50 for the Blues. 25
minutes gone in this term. Been a lot of goals scored in this quarter compared to the first quarter. Balls again with Railways. The Railways send the ball through. Jager Williams kicks it towards half forward, looking for Michael O'Connell. Ball comes out the back, goes the way of the player there in Bunter. Gets it away by hand towards the player in Boyle. Mitchell Boyle puts it on his left boot, but he's hit the goal post. And Adamini was the player that played his part in that passage of play, but a minor score only. And once again, the scoreboard ticks over, and it is 8 goals 7 to 2 goals 1 in favour of the Blues. No, 9 goals 7 to 2 goals 1.
Can be interesting to get an update from Eden Clark or GBSC Sports Park this afternoon, where it was very tight at quarter time.
Yeah, 1 point in it at quarter time. Chapman Valley didn't use the breeze that well in the first quarter. They kicked 5 behinds, and Brigades kicked 1 goal straight. In the second term, Brigades have the use of the breeze, so it'll be interesting, as Peter mentioned, the half-time score. As Railways go forward through Williams, goes the way there of Ted Kerr. Ted gets it up the ground and finds Tristan Simpson. Tristan Simpson, 55 metres from goal. Kicks it up towards full forward. Good mark there to Jack Osborne. In fact, Jack was interfered with. He took the mark. But
he got the mark, though, anyway.
And he must have, the Rovers player didn't agree with the decision. And the umpires, they don't have any leeway in that regard. So Jack will shoot on goal from point-blank range, and it'll bring up his second goal, but he'll also bring up his side's 10th goal. So Jack Osborne gets his second in as many minutes. So well done to Jack Osborne. And a bit of undisciplined play there from the Rovers player who mouthed off. And on the scoreboard for GBSC at half-time in the football, our round 2 game from Red Dust Holdings Recreation Ground, it is Railways 10-7-67. They lead Rovers 2-1-13. And you're tuned to Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football. Late in that quarter, single goals to Jager Williams, Jordan Williamson, Mitchell Boyle, Matt Kimberley, Jesse Adamini, Damien King, Elliot Delaney and Dylan Corbett. For Rovers, their goal scorers, they kicked 2 very quick goals in that second term against the flow of play. Farron Parfitt kicked a good goal. That was, of course, in the early stages of that quarter, and so too did Dwayne Neville. So 2 goals for Rovers. Peter, you're looking at contenders for the Skeeters Restaurant Player of the Day from the Rovers Club, and who have you liked in the first half?
In that quarter it was a little bit harder, Glenn, but I got 4 that I believe were the better performers for the Demons. Kobe Bursell continues to do okay, rucking around the ground as well. Glenn Prosser, Chris Scott, and I think Sean Brennan is doing what he can.
And looking at better players for Railways and contenders for the Skeeters Restaurant Player of the Day, I think Jesse Adamini continues to play well. So too does Mitchell Boyle, so the classy players. In defence, Ruben Ulrich doing well. Nathan Tubby doing well. Drew Tunbridge doing well. And around the ground, picking up kicks, Matt Kimberley and Blake Bunter are doing well as well. So Railways in control of this game as we're about to get this third quarter underway. The quarter for Drennan O'Malley, and of course the premiership quarter is what they call it. And we know that Railways preparation is good, and they may be able to run over the top. But of course, Railways will have the breeze at their back in this quarter, and they'll be looking to set themselves up to be an unassailing lead at half time.
54 points,
well,
isn't
it?
It
Not already,
yeah.
if it isn't already. But
exactly.
Yeah, that's right. So the pressure is on Rovers. Can they come back after the spell, or will Railways continue to dominate and run all over the Demons this afternoon? Umpire holds the ball aloft. That is umpire Darren Bryce. And we're underway in this third term. Drennan O'Malley Motors game day. Ball goes the way from MJ McConnell. Slaps it down cleverly towards the player in Mitchell Boyle. He gets it upfield, looking there for Prosser. Prosser almost could have been rewarded with a free kick. The umpire said no, he wasn't held. Umpire now will throw the ball up at half forward. Ball going forward for Railways. One in the rock knock. Does MJ McConnell, goes the way of Mitchell Boyle. He gets rid of the ball again. Back to McConnell. Goes the way of Tristan Simpson. Tristan Simpson's ball is cut off by Jai Thurston. He kicks the ball up along centre wing. Looking up there for Tom Collins. Tom Collins is tackled and he's caught in possession. He tried to look for the boundary line. The umpire said, no, you walked for the boundary line and you were being held. So Dylan Corbett is rewarded. Dylan Corbett, the former Northampton Ram, plays on quickly, kicks it up towards half forward, but a good bit of play there taken by the defender there for the Demons.
Jai Thurston also would have been amongst my better players in that term too. Glenn is probably the most consistent out on the park in retrospect for the Demons, working hard on a half-back flank and across the board really on that half-back line. The ball now with Azevedo. Rovers need this youngster to lift. He's got a bit of talent. Azevedo down the broadcast side. From the grandstand, players setting themselves up. They go. The mark is almost taken by Rovers. That's Kobe Bursell. The ball goes forward now. Picked up by Ted Curry. Sends it inboard and finds Boyle. Boyle searching handball. He gets it out to Adamini. Adamini can run out toward Kimberley, but decides to bounce it once, twice. He's got a bit of room. He can set something up. He goes into Kimberley now. Straight down the middle of the ground they go. A beautiful lead. And the mark is taken by a fella that has impressed us so far this afternoon, and Damien King.
Damien King, he's kicked a goal today. He's kicked 2 goals last week.
He's a good lead, isn't he, Glenn? He leads well.
He's a good young player. He's a left footer, which makes it a little different, but he's a good young player. There's no doubt about that. And he gives you something to kick to, and he'll only get better as time goes on. Only a very young man. So Damien King, he's 40 metres out on a 45-degree angle, shooting towards the city end of Red Does Holdings Recreation Ground. There goes the kick from Damien King. The goal umpire watches it through, and he gets another one on the scoreboard. So Damien King gets a goal. That's his second of the afternoon. And on the scoreboard for Adam Hunter Accountants, we see the scoreboard roll over. 11 goals, 7 Railways. They lead Rovers 2 goals, 1. Just repeating the score with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Lara Dalton, the member for Geraldton, out there at GBSC Sports Park at half-time. Brigades of 5 goals, 1, 31. They lead Chapman Valley 6 straight behinds. Yeah,
they've obviously both been in their forward 50 just as often, Glenn.
Yeah,
but
makes
Brigades
a
paying the better dividends.
Well, it's a bit like Port and Adelaide the other night, wasn't it?
Certainly. Drennan O'Malley Motors bringing you this particular quarter and bringing you NFL football each and every week here on Radio Mama. Thanks to Ron, John, Rachel and all the team at Drennan O'Malley Motors in Chapman Road for all your used car needs, and they have some beauties in the yard at the moment, Glenn. So if you're looking for a used car, then there's none other better than Drennan O'Malley Motors. Watching a player run off the ground now.
Just getting a water.
Just getting water as we're waiting for the ball to come back.
Yep.
So the ball coming back now. The breeze has probably, I don't know, doesn't seem to have got any stronger. If anything, it's got probably a little bit weaker, Glenn, in this term, favouring the Augusta Street end. Great conditions for footy, one would think, out there on the recreation ground. Ball goes up again now. One by Bursell on this occasion. He leaped up into the air, goes to ground. In fact, it was Thurston. I apologise. The ball.
Damien King has in fact got 3 goals, Peter.
He has. So there we've got Blake Taswell put on a good tackle there. Free kick going the way of Rovers now into the full forward area. Shot on goal. That was a good one in the end. And I think it was Kirill Bennell got that goal, number 23 I think it was. And it was from the good work. It started off in the middle of the ground by Blake Taswell, the young ruckman for the Demons.
So a good bit of play from Rovers. They needed that one. So a good response after a pretty quick start from Railways, where they got the first goal, but good to see Rovers respond and a goal to Rovers there and finishing it off well. Ball back in the centre. So early stages of this third term, the premiership quarter as they call it, 1 goal apiece. So even contest at the moment. Drennan O'Malley Motors game day. Ball slapped forward. Goes the way now of Tom Denton. Tom Denton gets his kick forward up towards half forward, looking for the hard-working player there for Rovers and Clay Azevedo. And Azevedo goes towards the boundary line, but he's offline, and the ball goes out of bounds. So brought back in by Nathan Tubby, the hard-working player who's played many games for the Blues over the years, over a long period of time. Nathan goes backwards to go forward. He goes the way of Jager Williams. Jager Williams goes with another short pass and goes back and goes the way to a teammate.
Ulrich.
Young Ruben Ulrich turns it over. Gives Rovers an opportunity, but the Rovers player screws the ball around the corner. That was Dylan Curley, and misses what he should have perhaps taken. Bit lackadaisical. Ball goes through for a minus score, so another minus score on the scoreboard for Adam Hunter Accountants. So it's 3 goals to Rovers. They trail Railways 11-7.
Drennan O'Malley Motors bringing this particular term the ball in the half-back line with Ruben Ulrich. Dad was a champion with the Railways Football Club. I think he played in a premiership with his dad, Glenn. I'm not quite sure, but
he's a very fine footballer, as I'm sure he would have.
Yep, the ball coming inboard now from Ulrich is well, he didn't send it too well down the middle, and the ball is marked by Curley. So Curley's going to get another shot at the goal, Glenn. He had a bit of a sighter earlier, a little bit further out now. He's a pretty good goal sneak, is Dylan Curley. So I reckon he'll nail this one, even though he'll be inside 45 metres when he gets onto this. But looks pretty good off the boots. Yes, it is. It's through the middle.
Response.
Dylan Curley scores a much-needed goal for the Demons, and suddenly things looking a little bit different on the scoreboard. They go to 4 goals 2. And they trail Railways 11-7.
Well, good to see Dylan Curley. He missed one, but he certainly recovered and made use of his last sighter. He's a very clever player, Dylan Curley. Probably could have gone a lot further in his football, but he seems quite happy here and doing a good job there. So the key forward for Rovers gets his first goal of the afternoon. So 4 goals now for Rovers, but they've still got a long way to come back. Although, to their credit, they've been able to kick a couple of goals against the Breeze.
Ball back in the middle now. Can Rovers add to their tally? Still time in this game for them to make an impact or make inroads. Ball back in the middle now. Interesting to see how things are going out at GBSC Sports Park. That game there, probably the game of the day. The ball coming out of the middle. Going the way now of Rovers. They try and do something with it through the guise of Stuart Egan. Egan loses possession. The ball spills free. Out the back though, it's picked up now by Denton. Strange kick, but a good one. Finds Brennan with the blue boots. Then I reckon you should get some yellow boots. There's some green boots and blue boots. They're all out there as the ball goes forward now. And that
the trouble is, Peter, when you wear coloured boots, you have to get a kick. It puts the pressure on.
Jai Thurston again in the passage of play. Sends it inside the corridor, going back the way of Curley. He knocks it forward. Goes the way now of Farron Parfitt, but a little bit lackadaisical. Spins around and hits the post.
That's right. We've seen 2 or 3 goals where Rovers, you can't afford not to get the score on the board. They're only 15 metres out. And all of a sudden they could have been 3 goals up on where they are at the moment if they had kicked more accurately.
Interesting to note Dylan Curley, as you said, getting into the game, Glenn, and it's paying dividends for the Demons.
He is. Ball comes forward and Railways player under pressure gets tackled, thrown to the ground. That is Ted Kerr. The umpire will come in and throw the ball up. So the ball will be thrown up just in front of the 50-metre line at the southern end of the ground. The breeze is blowing to the city end or the northern end of the ground. Ball comes the way of Mitchell Boyle. He gets a handball away just in the nick of time. And Rovers go forward. Good bit of play there from Sean Brennan.
And he also is going to get another shot, Glenn. And that's
well, he saw him kick a beautiful 55-metre goal with the breeze at the back. This time he's 40 metres out on a 45-degree angle. Very clever footballer, very capable. So he'll want to make amends for his last effort where he missed one from about 15 metres out.
Missed a lot of football in the last couple of years through ankle injuries.
Yes. Yeah. And it's had issues too. Of course, he hasn't been able to play as much basketball as he likes. He likes his basketball. There goes his kick. And the ball is grabbed by the breeze, goes right across the goal. And there's a man in the orange boots marking.
Azevedo.
Clay Azevedo. So Clay Azevedo has the ball in the left forward pocket. Kicking towards...
Now Farron will tell you meant that to happen.
Yeah, it was chosen way. It was a plan. Let's see how Clay goes. He screws the ball around the corner, screws it around too far. And on the Adam Hunter accountant scoreboard, we see Railways. They are 11-7. Rovers are 4 goals, 6.
Ball out of defence now. Going to the outer side. Mark is almost taken, but collected eventually by Moore. He gives it away, or is it? In fact, it's Drage who had the ball. The ball goes to ground. The tackle is put on. And the umpire says, no, give it to me, boys. We'll throw it up. It is Williamson at the bottom of that pack.
Railways are 11-7. Rovers are 4-4. The old scoreboard attendants spend a bit of time standing in front of the score. So it makes it a little bit hard to read at times.
The ball going forward now for Railways. And I think on the half-forward area, free kick is going to go. No, it's coming back. The ball's going the way of Drage. Drage has been good in this game and the game last week too, Glenn, racking up possessions.
Yes.
He sends it forward now. He finds this player in Kimberley. Kimberley, the most consistent player you could think for Railways, or he'd be up there anyway, arguably.
Oh, for sure.
Gets it away now to this player in Moore. Jesse Moore. Hopefully I didn't give you too many years on your birth, Jesse, but I think you're about 34, 35. The ball into the half-forward area.
Good mark
is taken. A beautiful mark is taken by a fellow you've grown accustomed to liking, Glenn. He's going to have a shot on goal. And we're talking about Damien King.
Yeah, Damien's kicked 3 goals, lining up for goal number 4. He's a left footer. And the umpire's putting him in position, almost shooting directly on the face of goal. Let's see the left footer, see how he goes this time. And he gets it through, so he's got 4 goals, so he's had a big day. Had 3 goals last week against Northampton in the rematch of the grand final, which Northampton won by 9 points. But he's been very good again today. So we see that Railways have kicked 2 goals and Rovers have kicked 2 goals so far in this quarter now. So it's even Stevens. We're back to where we started at half time. We've played 11 minutes in this third term with thanks to Drennan O'Malley Motors. So recapping the Adam Hunter scoreboard, it's 12 goals 7. That is the score for Railways. 4 goals 4 is the score for Rovers.
Yes, it is a 50-point deficit in favour, or deficit for Rovers, I should say. Good score for Railways. Ball back in the middle. Up they go. It looks like it's Drage that was going up into the ruck on this occasion. He can leap that boy, going back the way of Scott now for the Demons. He sends it to the outer side. He's looking for Azevedo out there. He's quickly brought to ground. Tackling in the appropriate way now, Glenn. Even our players can do it as they send them for a doozy-doo as they hit the ground.
That's right. So very important to protect the player, not crash his head into the ground, which used to be the case where we all tried to do that. Ball comes back into play. Goes the way of the Rovers player, gets a handball forward. That's Blake Tazewell. Tazewell gets it up the ground, but Railways have got the answers, or have they? In goes the Railways player, cop one high, And Railways will get the free kick there. So Railways have the ball on the outer side. And the Railways players a little bit groggy. Railways have the ball. And the player with the ball is Shayden Edwards. Edwards goes on by hand, picks out a teammate and Matthew Kimberley. Kimberley goes further afield and finds Jesse Adamini just in front of the scoreboard. Adamini brings the ball inboard a bit and has picked out a teammate running towards goal. And in fact it was Kimberley. It was Adamini gets it to him. Adamini gets it back. Jesse Adamini shoots on goal. And he's got another one on the scoreboard, has Jesse Adamini. That's his second of the afternoon. And, Rovers, they seem to be able to put the pressure on Peter for about 2 or 3 minutes. And then we see Railways' relentless run, their superior fitness, and they're able to run the game out. And they see the scoreboard roll over again. On the Adam Hunter accountant scoreboard, it's a good scoreline for Railways. Railways are 13 goals 7, and they lead Rovers 4 goals 4.
Back in the middle now as we head toward the latter stages of the third term, the premiership quarter, and it looks like Railways are going to continue into the final term with a substantial lead in this match. This quarter brought to you by Drennan O'Malley Motors. Ball back in the middle. Umpires this afternoon haven't really had a difficult task. The game has been pretty open for that sort of thing, umpiring that is, as we see Brennan go to ground, doesn't give up the little man, and the umpire says, give it to me, we'll throw it up once again. Knocked forward on that occasion by Bursell, I think it was. He hit it forward on that occasion. Kobe Bursell.
Yeah, he's going okay.
He is. Against Haswell, they look very similar. The ball coming out of the pack, and it is Captain Scott. Sends it into the half-forward area. Farron Parford, a beautiful pass to his brother, gets it back to Azevedo. He shoots on goal, and that is the best, he's never going to say the best passage of play by Rovers this afternoon, but in saying that, I'll put the kibosh on them, Glenn, and Azevedo hit the post.
Yeah, as you said, it was a very promising build-up. They won the ball forward, a lot of good slick hand movement. Azevedo's been good, just his finishing on that occasion, but it was a good effort as Railways recover. Tristan Simpson has the ball on half back. He comes out towards centre wing, finds Kerr. Kerr plays on quickly, gets it up towards half forward where he finds Jesse Adamini, who kicked the last goal for Railways. Adamini, big kick up towards the 50-metre line, looking up there for the danger man. And the danger man couldn't hold the ball on that occasion, and Damien King sees the ball across the boundary line. There'll be a boundary throw in deep in the left forward pocket. In earlier games today, with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton, in the Colts game, a big win to Railways. Railways 104 defeated Brigades 13, and in the reserves, Railways 110 defeated Rovers 19.
Ball coming in, a deep attack now for Railways, but there he is again. Young Thurston gets the ball, gets it down now to Denton. Denton, as I mentioned in the preview and the Guardian earlier, the last couple of weeks, he's going to be important to Rovers this season as they rebuild after quite a long period of success. As the ball comes back inboard now, a player is dealt with. I think a fair kick will go to that player, and he will have a shot on goal. And it is that boy again, Glenn. Has done pretty well right
Damien King
this game, and Damien King. So he's going to go for goal number 5, is it?
It is.
Yeah, so Damien King directly in front, dealt with as the ball came in. And now have a shot on goal. He'll kick from about 35 when he gets onto this one, or even a little bit closer to the Augusta Street end. Breeze at his back. Too easy. Goal number 5 for Damien King. And he's had a day out here at the recreation ground.
That's a big effort. 5 goals for the young man after coming off 3 goals last week against the Premier side in Northampton. So well done. Good to see Damien King, an emerging key forward. And we do need some key forwards around the league, and it's great to see Damien showing some skill. Of course, we had young Jack Cocking a couple of years ago. He was certainly an emerging key forward. And Jack, of course, gone to pursue his career further in the city.
Ball coming back now, and Railways certainly have put paid to this game. One would think this afternoon, 91 plays 29 here at the recreation ground. As I said, I'd like to get an update from GBC Sports Park. That, of course, is a game that was a lot closer at half-time. The ball coming out of the middle goes away now of Railways as they knock it forward into space. Player quickly brought to ground, and the tackle was put on by the Rovers player, who remonstrated with the umpire, but the The ball goes away now. Bunter into the half-forward area, and there he is. A player there going forward with the ball, and that is Jesse Adamini, and he finds the veteran, and Ben Saunders, who takes a nice mark running out of full forward on that occasion. So Ben Saunders will kick from about 35 metres directly in front at the Augusta Street end. I don't know if I'd back him from here, but I think I'd put it in the book, Glenn. But here he goes, Ben Saunders. Doesn't look too bad off the boot, and I couldn't have been more correct as he puts it straight through the middle. And that is their 15th goal of the afternoon. It is Railways 15-7, leading Rovers 4-5.
Yeah, great effort from Ben Saunders. Ben has come back from injury and available today, or he might have come back from suspension. I'm unsure what the story was, but he's back today, and he's looked good, hasn't he? He's looked really good. He's finished off well, and he's looking probably quite slim in comparison. He's probably carrying a few more kilos last year, so he might be able to do a bit more running because he hasn't been able to in recent times.
He runs around with his twin boys in the pram.
Yeah, that probably wears him out. And the fact is, he's looking good. So that's good to see that he's playing well and a good finish. We like it when he gets a good score on the board. And they've been sharing the goals around. There's been 8 or 9 goal scorers for Railways so far today in that 15 goals, which looks always promising. You've got to have opportunities to share, have opportunities and share the options, because you can't lock it away with 1 or 2. Everyone's got to play their part. You've got to have midfielders and ruck and Rovers kicking goals, and that's what Railways have got at the moment with Jesse Adamini and Jordan Williamson. Ball goes forward. Mitchell Boyle on half forward, feeds the handball out the back, looking for Ben Saunders. He feeds it further afield. Big handball, looking there for Matt Kimberley. Then he goes back in to retrieve it, does big Ben Saunders. Goes back in, gets tackled. Umpire gave him the opportunity, and the umpire said, I'll throw the ball up. About 30 metres away from the goals, 20-minute mark in this third term. We're into time on in this third term, and it's been a good quarter for Railways as they go forward again through the hard-working player there who sees the ball off his boot on the wrong side and goes through for a minus score. That was Jack Osborne. He was offline on that occasion. So on the scoreboard for Adam Hunter, the accountant, we see that Railways are 15-7, 97. They lead Rovers 4-5, 29. Ball to be brought back into play. And there goes the kick from Rovers. They go out wide, but it's taken again by Blake Bunter, the wingman. Bunter brings the ball inboard, and just in front of the scoreboard, Matt Kimberley gets another possession. I wouldn't mind $1 for every possession he gets in a year. So Matt Kimberley with the ball, 40 metres out, shooting on goal. There goes Matt's kick. It's going to fade away the right-hand side, 1 point only. And on the Adam Hunter accountant scoreboard, 15 goals, 8. They lead Railways, 15-8 Railways to Rovers 4-5, 29. Maybe it was out of bounds on the full. It was out of bounds on the full. So recall the scoreboard, 15-7, 97 to 4-5, 29. So he didn't make the score. Ball comes way of Prosser. Prosser shows a lot of courage, goes across the ground, and in front of the grandstand, he picks out a teammate there, Clay Azevedo. He gets it up the ground, whistle on play. Player cackled high. Free kick will go the way of Jordan Williamson, and Dwayne Neville gave away the free kick. He's asking the question, but they don't change their mind very often. There goes the kick. There's been another one, and we see a 50-metre penalty, and Dwayne Neville goes back in. Kerr tells Williamson to walk away, and he has, which is a very, very fine thing, because the ball has moved up the ground 50 metres, and all of a sudden the ball is with the big key forward, Damien King. Kicked 5 goals this afternoon, the left footer. He's 35 metres out on a 45-degree angle on the left half forward flank, just in front of the Railways club rooms. The Railways club members would be pretty happy with what they're seeing this afternoon. There goes the kick. It fades away to the left-hand side, 1 point only. And on the Adam Hunter accountant scoreboard, Brigades are 15 goals, 8. They lead Rovers 4 goals, 5. As Dwayne Neville is going to come off for a spell, perhaps. No, he's asking the question. He's asking for the ball. That's what he's doing. And ball will be brought back into play by Rovers.
They kick it to the outer side. The scoreboard is they have possession now, and they still do. As it comes outside the defensive 50, Brennan has it on the far side. Puts in a fair effort, does young Brennan. But support has been few and far between this afternoon. He kicks down the Francis Street wing. Into the sun, up they go. No one can take the mark. The Wolfsbulls free and over the boundary. The scoreboard reading 15-8 plays 4-5 in favour of the Blues. Bit of a one-sided affair as we go into the final term. This quarter brought to you by Drennan O'Malley Motors. For all your used car needs or wants or desires, you'll find them on Chapman Road. In they come now. The ball goes up. A bit of a windy by the Rovers ruckman as he goes up. The ball hits the deck. Players dive on top of it. And the umpire says, boys, give it to me again. We'll throw it up once again. Up they go. MJ McConnell gets the ball, brings it through the middle, gets the way now of Simpson. Simpson evades a couple of players, sends it into space. Running onto it are a couple of Railways players who are under the pump somewhat, but a free kick has gone the way of Damien King as he moved in there. And he was actually dealt with as he went to get the ball, or the umpire believed. And Damien King now want to get another shot on goal. Now he's directly in front then, and he'll kick from about 40 metres or closer when he gets onto this. And this could be goal number 6. What do you reckon?
Well, if he kicks goal number 6, Peter, he certainly jumps into contention, I'd say, for the Skeeters player of the day. Good young player. Kicking 6 goals in a game is a pretty good effort. But he's offline again, so it's a bit of an awkward kicking style for a left footer. Usually they are a little bit more smooth than that, but he's probably playing with a little bit of a problem in the fact that he is a little bit concerned about his kicking. He probably needs to keep working on it, but it's because he's kicked 5 goals, so he's doing okay, but he's probably kicked 2 or 3 that were certainly kickable. Ball comes out of defence, goes the way of Tom Denton, working hard for his side, gets a kick forward. There goes the kick up towards half forward, looking up there for some movement. Dwayne Neville's there, and once again the umpire Brian Cohen will come and throw the ball up just in front of the Colin Scruffy Burgess grandstand here at the recreation ground, the Red Dust Holdings recreation ground these days. Goes the way of the young player there for Rovers in young Kobe Bursell. Ball spills, goes the way of Matt Kimberley. Kimberley kicks it from centre wing up towards half forward. Tristan Simpson slacks the ball forward for Railways, but the ball is cleared by the defender there for Rovers, who did very well in Bradley Roworth. Bradley Roworth played a season down at Carnamah last year. Played a game for Cervantes 2 weeks ago, so he gets around a bit, but he likes his footy. Hard-working young player. Ball comes forward, and on centre half, on the half back flank, Rovers go forward, but the ball's cut off by the hard-working and very reliable Tunbridge. And he's played a lot of footy for the Blues. Kicks it forward, looking up there for Shaden Edwards. Edwards couldn't put a handle on it. Tristan Simpson can, but there's the siren. Time runs out for Railways as they shoot towards goal, but it's too late. The siren has sounded, and it's 3/4 time at the football. Drennan O'Malley Motors Game Day, Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football, and at 3/4 time, it is Railways. 15 goals, 9.99. They lead Rovers 4-5-29, and you're tuned to Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football.
local member for the seat of Durack. Stay tuned to the home of GNFL football, Radio Mama.
And it's three-quarter time of the football. The sirens sounded. Rovers are getting their address from their new coach. And their new coach, of course, is Chris Scott. And his assistant, who's been the senior coach in recent times, is Ian Comben. He's helping out as well. Railways at the other end, just in front of their club rooms, and they are in a pretty good position, it's fair to say. And at three-quarter time, we see Railways 15 goals 99, lead Rovers 4-5 29. Railways have led throughout. They led by 27 points at quarter time, 54 points at half time, now lead by 70 points. As we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Lara Dalton, the member for Geraldton. And we can tell you that it's a really good contest out there at GBSC Sports Park, which we would imagine. And Brigades, they didn't kick a goal last quarter, but they didn't have the breeze. Chapman Valley did. Chapman Valley added another 5 goals 8. So Chapman Valley haven't had their kicking boots on. So at three-quarter time, Chapman Valley are 5 goals 14. So 19 scoring shots to Brigades, 5 goals 1 6. But we know that Brigades have the breeze in the last quarter. So it'll be an interesting final scoreline coming from GBSC Sports Park.
A bit like last night in the game between Carlton and Collingwood. Collingwood almost kicked themselves out of the game in a way.
Exactly, and we saw it the night before where Port Adelaide did, didn't they? Let's look at our quarter-by-quarter summaries with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Lara Dalton, the member for Geraldton. For Railways, they've been sharing them around. Damien King has 5 goals, 2 goals to Jesse Adamini, single goals, Dylan Corbett, Elliot Delaney, also Matt Kimberley, also Mitchell Boyle, Jordan Williamson, Jager Williams, Jack Osborne and Ben Saunders. So a good goal kicking line up there for Railways. For Rovers, goal scorers Kirill Bennell 1, Farron Parfitt, Dwayne Neville and Dylan Curley. Peter, you're looking at the contenders for the Skidders Restaurant Player of the Day. Who have you liked from Rovers in the first three quarters?
Well, probably the most consistent for Rovers has been Kobe Bursell along with Sean Brennan, Jai Thurston and probably Clay Zavato.
And for Railways, still Jesse Adamini, Mitchell Boyle, Ruben Olgreg, Drew Tunbridge and Matt Kimberley showing the way. But of course you've got to put the big ruckman in there as well, as Damien King has been outstanding with 5 goals. Ball goes forward for Railways again. Jesse Adamini almost got tackled high, plays on quickly, breaks at a tackle, gets it forward, looking to the player there in Kimberley. He gets it up, looking for Williamson. Well done by the Rovers defender, but he overran the ball. Damien King soccers the ball back towards goal. But once again, Bradley Roworth sees the ball across the boundary line, or through the goal line, that is, and a force behind. So another minus score for Railways. Rovers have got the breeze at their back in this quarter as the ball comes out of defence. Goes from Roworth, who gets it up the ground and finds Clay Azavado. Azavado gets it further to Tom Denton. Denton goes in towards the centre. The Rovers player overruns the ball. Railways have it through Elliot Delaney. He gets in the way of Kerr. Ted Kerr gets in the way of Dylan Corbett. Dylan Corbett on centre wing. Ricks it up the ground, finds Jager Williams. Williams goes by hand, looking for Ben Saunders. Ben Saunders on the 50-metre line, right on the boundary line, on the right half forward flank. Kicks it up, walking there for the Taya in... Oh, he's got a goal, has King. Damien King has got a beautiful goal. That's his 6th of the day, probably the hardest of the day by far. And Damien King gets his 6th goal of the day. Well done, young man.
Wonderful snap.
And a good goal. And Railways get another goal.
Ben Saunders knew what he was doing then.
Yeah, he's been very accurate and efficient up there. And the scoreboard rolls over. In this term, our scoreboard is for GBSC. And Railways are 16 goals 10. They lead Rovers 4 goals 5. Just repeating that score, three-quarter time from GBSC Sports Park. This is round 2 of the GNFL Premiership season. Doing it today for Active West Real Estate. And at three-quarter time, Brigades are 5 goals 1. Chapman Valley are 5 goals 14. It's a 13-point margin, but Brigades are coming home with a 3-goal breeze.
Yeah, let's see what Chapman Valley can do. Can they hold on? The ball back in the middle now. Railways are certainly doing the job here as it comes out of that area. Diving on top of it are a couple of Rovers players. Eventually they do get possession. Azavado gets it over to Denton. Denton in turn gets it back to a teammate who puts it onto his boot into the half-forward area. Running out is Kerr. He can't take the mark. The ball goes away now of Parfitt. That's Clayton Parfitt. Puts it into space. Running through are a couple of players to try and deal with the ball. Unlucky on this occasion as they do so. Running onto it are Rovers, then Railways, but the Railways players do pretty well in defence to thwart the attempts and sorties forward. It is 10 goals 10 plays 4 goals 5. A lopsided affair in our Drennan O'Malley game day. This quarter brought to you by GT Russell Chartered Accountants. Grant Russell, who helps out the Railways contingent, would be pretty happy at the moment, Glenn.
He would be very happy. I don't think he's seen too many injuries today, and let's hope it goes that way for both clubs from here on. And that's the way we like it, when players don't get seriously injured. Ball comes forward, goes up towards centre wing, Francis Street side. Umpire has no option but to come in and throw the ball up again. So we played 3 minutes, as Peter mentioned, in this last quarter. And it is certainly been one-way traffic for most of the day. Nothing wrong with Rovers' effort. They've worked hard, but they just don't have the level of fitness and the level of ability at the moment across the board. They've had a few player changes over the summer months. A few players have left, and they haven't been able to recoup them as quickly. The ball comes out of the half back line. O's up half forward, but once again, Delaney stands his ground for Railways. Kicks it across the face of Grohl. Bit of a dangerous kick. Gives Stuart Egan the opportunity. He grabs it, throws it on his boot from 55 metres. Kicks it up towards the teeth of goal. Farron Parfitt runs into an open goal. And Farron gets his second goal of the afternoon. And Rovers get their fifth. Rovers are 5 goals 5, 34. They trail Railways 16-10, 106 on the GBSC scoreboard.
Has Farron got 2 or 3 goals, Glenn?
He could have.
I think he might
he's
have
got 2. No.
Yeah, I thought he might have 3. Well, I don't know. I thought that maybe he should
have
got
had
goal.
one. But he did recover and he kicked the next one.
That's right. He did. Yeah. But he did get no. He's got 3 because he got that big one from about 55.
No, he's got 2. Yeah, that one. He didn't get that one up there, and then he got another one, didn't he?
Yeah,
no, but then we've got too many goals then.
But he has got 3.
Well, we thought someone else had the other one too.
We'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got 3. Anyway, we'll see. Yeah. He'll let you know anyway.
He will. He'll keep us across it. So, in the first quarter, Rovers, Farron kicked 1, and so too did, he may have kicked 2. Yeah, he may have 3. But then you might be right. No, he didn't. No. Doesn't add up. There's only 5 goals.
He has got 3. We've given someone too many.
Well, Dwayne Neville kicked 1.
Yeah.
And Dylan Curley kicked 1.
Yeah.
So, and number 23 kicked 1. So, so that's 6. So we can't have him having 3.
Okay then. Yeah. See how it all pans out. But Glenn, I'm glad you're doing that job and not me.
Yeah.
Pull back in the middle now.
Free kick.
A free kick is going the way of Railways.
In the square.
Yeah, Drage has it. It's in the half-forward area looking for Saunders. He started to show his that he's got a bit of style as this fella in the latter stages of the game, as he started to let Railways finish off this game with a polish. The ball into the half-forward area. Adamini dives on top of it. He's unlucky as he goes to ground. The umpire says no prior opportunity, and the ball will be thrown up just inside the forward 50. So, scoreboard reading 10-10 plays 5-5. Players setting themselves. Up they go. Tries to get knocked forward by Azevedo. He's unlucky. The ball comes back in now. And players diving on top of it.
Yeah, next weekend, Peter, we'll be out seeing another good game because Rovers are hosting Towns. Towns are the big improvers. So it'll be interesting to see where they sit because Towns believe that they can push their way right up the premiership table, and it'll be a good contest. So that'll be a game next week for Drennan O'Malley Motors. Other games next weekend, we go back to full rounds, which is wonderful for Bubbles Plumbing and Gas. Next Saturday, Northampton host Brigades at Percher International Oval, which will be a good game too. Northampton and Brigades, a lot of good history there. Chapman Valley play Mullawa at Mazzucchelli Oval, and Chapman Valley playing their first home game. And Rovers, as we said, will be our broadcast game next weekend again when they take on Towns. And Towns, of course, coming off a big win. As we see Blake Bunter
good goal.
And Blake Bunter gets another goal on the board for the Blues. And Blake Bunter becomes another goal scorer. So there's about 11 goal scorers for Railways today. And Blake Bunter, who's been very good on centre wing, gets another score on the board for his club, Railways. And on the GBSC scoreboard, it is Railways. They are 17 goals 10, and they lead Rovers 5 goals 5.
Yeah, 27 shots to 10 tells a story this afternoon here at the recreation ground. The Demons have a pretty long season in front of them, one would think now.
It looks like it, yes.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? I don't know who has to come into the lineup, whether they do have something up their sleeve, but as you said, Glenn, they don't look half as fit as the Railways side do.
Well, their reserve side was pretty soundly beaten, and so too was their Colts side.
Yeah, so
and they don't have an under-16 side, so...
Struggling a bit out there at Grenofova. The ball coming out of the middle, goes away Dylan Curley, then turn to Denton. Denton into the half-forward area, over the back. Player tries to grab it. I think it was Neville who was running onto it. He was unlucky. He goes back the way of Parfitt. He shoots on goal. Clayton Parfitt straight into the goal square, but there's been a bit of a to-do from the umpire, and a free kick will go the way of Rovers now. So it looks like it is Egan, I think, who's going to get the free kick, is it? I don't know.
It might be Farron.
Farron Parfitt again. So going for goal number 3 or 4. We'll soon find out. Here he goes. Farron Parfitt's going to finish with a bag anyway this afternoon.
We'll give him 3 for now.
Straight through the middle at the Augusta Street end. And Rovers just making the deficit look a little less, stinging to say the least, Glenn.
Yeah, good effort there from Farron. He's been very good this afternoon playing in defence, but he goes forward when he can and kick, as many goals as he has. So well done to Farron. And looking at the GBSC scoreboard, it is Railways, 17 goals 10, 112. Rovers are 6 goals 5, which is 41. So an interesting scoreline on the GBSC scoreboard. Ball back in the centre. We saw Rovers give away a free kick at the last centre bounce because they had too many people in the square. And that's a cardinal sin, giving away a free kick and giving the opposition a free shot from the centre of the ground.
Must have already had the warning, because you're supposed to get a warning, aren't you, first?
Yeah, I think there must have been their second warning or third warning or something. I don't quite understand it, because I've never seen anyone ever get a free kick. I've always seen the warning. That's right.
Yeah, ball back in the middle now. Players setting themselves. Curley goes up. He knocks it down to ground, but it's picked up by Railways as they quickly get it out of the middle. But Rovers have it again. Like the game of the youngster in Brendan, Glenn. He hasn't had a lot of support, but he doesn't give up.
He runs hard.
He does, down the line, and the ball goes the way of Denton. Denton is the half-forward area. Up goes Parfitt. That's Clayton Parfitt. He couldn't take the mark, but does well to get it back to a teammate. Have a bit of space, and there's Brennan again.
Yes, he plays on Sean Brennan from the backward side of the square. Kicks it up towards full forward. Looking up there for Tayswell. Picked up by Farron Parfitt. And Farron Parfitt sets sail for home from 15 metres out. Beautiful goal. And Farron has got another goal, which makes it his 4th, which is an outstanding effort when you think his side has only kicked 7 goals.
Yeah.
So well done, Farron. And the ball goes through. A good bit of play. So a very good effort. 7 goals, plays 17. Farron's kicked 4 of the 7. And young Damien King has kicked some 6 of the 17. So they share them around, but Farron's being a little bit more greedy. The ball is coming back to the centre, but just repeating the scoreline. Railways on the GBSC scoreboard is Railways 17 goals 10, 112. Rovers of 7-5, 47. We've played 10 minutes in this final term, with thanks to GT Russell Chartered Accountants. Still waiting for a final siren out there at GBSC Sports Park this afternoon. At 3/4 time, really tight game, 13 points in it, and in favour of Chapman Valley, but we have Brigades coming home with the breeze. Brigades of 5 goals 1, Chapman Valley of 5-14, so 13 points in favour of the Chapman Valley side, but as I mentioned, we have Brigades coming home with the breeze.
Later stages of this game here at the recreation ground, it's going to be a big win to Railways as they try and atone for their premiership loss last year. They had a narrow loss last week by 9 points, but if we win today, percentage is going to be all important as the ball goes forward now. Or does it? Players throwing the ball around, getting a little bit tired at the moment. The umpire says, no, that's against you, as see a player go to ground in Prosser. And actually he's getting a free kick. He was thrown instead of the ball, Glenn, so Prosser will be the recipient of a free kick. So Glenn Prosser gives it away now to Denton. Denton sees the lead, or does. He's looking for Brennan, but it bounces past him and through a couple of players on the half-back line, though. Now it goes the way of Tunbridge. Mr. Reliable Goes across now to another player who's reliable equally as he, and that is Elliot Delaney. Delaney down the middle of the ground, gets it to that player in Kimberley. Kimberley to Saunders, the old guard there. Going forward now is the player there in Simpson. Goes to the outer side, and there's Jesse Moore. A nice big kick into the full forward area. Almost takes the mark. I'm talking about the big fella that's had a big game this afternoon. We're talking about Damien King. He's unable to collect it. The defenders for Rovers work overtime to ensure he doesn't get another goal on the board before this game is out. But players have other ideas as it goes forward now. But it's marked right in the goal square by the Demons defender. Prosser, he's been okay this afternoon. Probably getting up enough stats to be amongst Rovers' better players. He sends it inboard to Egan. Egan now. He's going to kick it down the wing in front of our broadcast position. He's looking for support. Doesn't find it over the head of a couple of players and across the boundary. Time ticking away in our Drennan O'Malley game day.
14 minutes gone in this final term as the ball will be brought back in by the Railways player there in Ruben Ulrich. Ulrich gets a short pass and finds Ben Saunders on centre wing. Ben Saunders sets his sail out wide, heading out towards the centre of the ground. He finds Elliot Delaney. He goes back through traffic, cleverly kicks it forward, looking up there for the big fellow we've been talking about, Damien King. Damien King from 55 metres, kicks it high, wide and handsome, deep into the forward line. Ball running free. In goes Jesse Moore for Railways, trying to keep the pressure on. Rovers defence under pressure. Rovers player caught in possession. Umpire's going to catch him. No, he's going to let him go. And Jesse Moore had hold of his arm and he had nowhere to go. So he's probably a little bit lucky that the Rovers player didn't get caught in possession. Ball comes the way now of Williamson. In fact, it's not Williamson's. Yes, it is Williamson. He gets the ball away just at the nick of time. A pack develops and there's a bit of pushing and shoving, but nothing much in it. There's been about one bit of push and shove throughout the whole afternoon, but not too much because Railways have been in clear control. Ball spills over the back. Goes the way of Tom Denton, who's worked really hard, as he always does. Comes out the back and Rovers go forward. Big kick up towards Stuart Egan. He can't control the ball, but Stuart Egan has a second chance. Ball bounces back towards him. He kicks it up towards the teeth of goals. Ball running free, and it'll give opportunity there for Elliot Delaney to pick it up. He does well. Under pressure, he was able to grab the ball, steady. Then he goes up along the boundary line, where he finds the player there for Railways, all on his own. So Railways doing well. On the outer side, short pass. Railways player gets driven into the ground. Umpire said, no, that's all in the part of play. And the Rovers have marked. So Rovers can clear. Rovers get a handball. Goes the way of Dylan Curley. Dylan Curley kicks it forward. Rovers player is cramped and in a fair bit of pain. Ball comes forward now. And the umpire's picked out a free kick. Oh, you reckon it's as bad as that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's no good. And the ball is now with the Rovers player who's got a free kick or he's taken a mark. And whistle, the umpire said, you've got to come back. So we'll come back now, just in front of the scoreboard. Rovers player, that's Clay Azevedo, isn't it?
I think
who's
so.
in trouble.
Looks like it.
So Clay Azevedo on half back, waiting for the trainer to arrive and see what the problem is. But he's certainly a big problem by the look of it. I thought it was a cramp initially, being one of the first games of the year for the Rovers club. But maybe it's worse than that. He's struggling to get up, but he's up now. But he's he's trying to
stretch his leg out.
Get it right, which is good. Rovers had a shot on goal there from Dwayne Neville, but Dwayne was offline on that occasion. So the scoreboard for GBSC rolls over, and the scoreboard for Rovers goes to 7 goals 6, 48. Railways is 17 goals 10, 112. So the ball will be brought back into play. So as we see Clay Azevedo come off, like you say, he's holding a groin, so it looks like a groin. Let's hope it is just a strain and not a severe strain. Ball to be brought back into play from Railways. Well, it didn't make the scoreboard, in fact. No score. Been a bit inaccurate around goals. They haven't been able to get goals when they should, or points for that matter. So Rovers regroup. So point goes off the scoreboard because they didn't make a score as Rovers go forward. Scott does well. He gets the ball forward. Chris Scott gets it up and towards the forward pocket where he finds Stuart Egan heading towards time on. And it's a pretty one-sided encounter here at GBS at the recreation ground, which is now the Red Dust Holdings recreation ground. So they all have an opportunity. Rovers to get another score on the board, but once again Stewart is offline. Stuart Egan gets a minus score, so the score now goes to 7 goals 6-48. They trail their opponents Railways 17 goals 10 112.
Yes, I think they're just waiting for this game to finish here this afternoon.
They're not the only ones, Peter.
Slowed down to a snail's pace as the ball coming out of defence. The scoreboard reading 17-10. That's Railways. They are defeating or beating Rovers 7-6 at the moment. So that's 112 plays 48. The ball coming out of defence now for Railways. They go to the outer side. That's the Francis Street side of the ground. Players setting themselves. Up goes the Railways plane. Takes a nice mark. He comes inboard now. It looks like it is Simpson who has the ball down the line, but straight into the arms of the Railways, a Rovers player, I should say. And Bursell now puts it onto his boot, sends it back to whence it came. Up they go. It's knocked down to ground. No one can get possession. The ball spills free. Eventually goes away of Rovers. Can they get another goal before time is out? But Railways have other ideas. They've been very consistent this afternoon, doing what they have to do as the ball goes to centre wing now. Railways setting something up, and Damien King runs all the way down to collect the ball. Beside the centre square, comes off hands and spills over the boundary. This quarter brought to you by GT Russell Chartered Accountants. And as you said, Glenn, we're headed to Greenock Oval next week.
Yes, and it should be a good game. Towns were winners last week. Towns have improved, and we'll be able to see where they rate on the pecking order. So looking forward to being at Greenock Oval next weekend. As you said, Peter, Railways are very consistent. They kick 4 goals in the first quarter, they kick 6 goals in the second quarter, and they kick 5 goals in the third quarter, where Rovers kicked no goals in the first quarter, 2 goals in the second quarter, 4 goals in the third quarter, and at this stage they've added another 3 in the final quarter. Ball is in the centre of the ground, goes the way of Dion Drage, feeds it out towards James Huggins. Jamie Huggins kicks it up towards the teeth of goal, and then he gets that young man again, and Damien King is marked. And Damien King,
good hands,
has got a shoot on goal. Yeah, he has got a very good set of hands.
I wonder why James Huggins has gone from 11 to 10.
Don't know.
Interesting.
Yes, don't know. So who's got number 11 now?
I don't know, but he not in this game, but he has changed for several seasons. He wore number 11.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So there we have it. The ball is with Damien King, and Damien's had a good day. He's kicked 6, and he's got 7 now. So Damien King is shoring up as our player of the day for the Skeeters Restaurant.
He's got a girlfriend he can take along to Skeeters.
Yes.
I'll bet you the ladies be lining up now that he's got the award.
7 goals, a good effort from the young man, and a very good scoreboard looking for the Railways side now. GBSC scoreboard, Railways are 18 goals 10. They lead Rovers 7 goals 6. Ball back in the centre. Dylan Curley to do the rucking for Rovers. Dion Drage to do the rucking for Railways. And 2 talented young players indeed. So the ball to be thrown up. 20 and a half minutes gone. We're into time on now in this final quarter, with thanks to GT Russell Chartered Accountants. And waiting for the ball to return, and it's back at the centre. Umpire Brian Cohen to throw the ball up. Umpire Cohen, umpire Dale Pearson, and umpire Darren Bryce have done a wonderful job this afternoon in our match of the day, with thanks to Drennan O'Malley Motors and GT Russell Chartered Accountants. Ball comes out of the centre through Dylan Curley. Curley gets it up towards half forward. Looking up there, but Railways have an opportunity through Tristan Simpson. He slaps the ball back, looking for Blake Bunter. And in this term, we've seen the Rovers side kick 3 goals, and Railways have kicked 3 goals as well. So this has probably been the evenest quarter of the 4 to this stage.
Yeah, the second term was one that really hurt the Demons, I think, with Railways piling it on against the breeze.
Yes.
So the ball on the far side is with the Blues. Kimberley gets it, but the ball will come back now. It's going to be a big win to the Blues, but it's Rovers who have it, and it is Curley. Dylan Curley sends it into the half-forward area. Yeah, it's a nice big kick. Goes to ground, picked up now by a teammate who gives it away to Parfitt. Parfitt shoots on goal, but it goes across the face, and there's no result as the ball will be thrown in deep defence now for the Blues. In fact, it is on the full, so coming back across goal.
I reckon Rovers have kicked the ball out of bounds on the full about 5 times today.
Yeah.
And, within goal-scoring distance. So, you put those 5 goals on the scoreboard and all of those 5 shots into the score. And, they're a lot closer than what the scoreboard perhaps looks. But their finishing from their very good players hasn't been as good. Just underprepared, I think.
Saunders out in the shadows of the scoreboard, sends it down the Francis Street side of the ground. Up they go, coming down to ground. It's picked up now by this player in Bunter. Bunter puts it onto his boot into the half-forward area, and there he is again. We're talking about Damien King. He has good hands. He gets it away to Boyle. Boyle loses possession. The ball spills free. And there it's picked up by the Rovers coach. He spins around, sends it out of danger, and the mark is taken by Bursell. Bursel's been very serviceable this afternoon. He's got a bit of talent, has the youngster. Demons be happy that they've kept him the last couple of years. The ball going forward now for Railways and Damien King. We'll have another shot on goal. Will this be number 8, Glenn? He's directly in front. He's only about 25 metres out, and I reckon he'll nail it.
Yes, well, if he does, he's had an exceptional day. Whether he nails it or not, he's been outstanding, the young fellow, and he's a left footer. He's got beautiful hands, as you say. They're really sticky, aren't they, Peter? He never drops a mark. I haven't seen him drop a mark, and he's kicked probably 2 or 3 points, but overall he's been exceptional. There goes his kick. He's kicked into the man on the mark, and that's a bit of a blow. The ball comes back now and goes the way of Rovers defender, and Rovers do well through Bradley Roworth. He goes out wide, looking out the far side. Comes the way, whistle on play, advantage rule played, goes away Stuart Egan. Egan gets it up towards Clayton Parfitt. Clayton Parfitt kicks it up towards half forward. Running out from full forward is that hard-running player there in Farron Parfitt. Farron's kicked 4 this afternoon already, at least.
I reckon he might have 5, but anyway, we'll find out.
Yes, but 5 don't go into 8 because there's other goal scorers. But we'll see how we go. He'll tell us. He'll know exactly when we see him after the game. He'll tell us, yes, I kicked how many goals he kicked. But we're going up. This will be his 5th, we think, but possibly his 6th, Peter says. There goes Farron's kick. Once again, Farron is offline, which is unusual for Farron. He's a very good kicker of the football, but he's offline. Minor score, 7-7. Rovers scoreline. They trail Railways 18-10 on the GBSC scoreboard.
Friends are on Sunday tomorrow from 10 o'clock. Join myself and Nicky DeFore. Grant Woodhams is on the road again, so we'll catch up with him. But also we catch up with a man up there in the north in Broome, and he certainly is good to listen to. He's an old broadcaster from yesteryear, and that's George Manning, Glenn. A
lovely man and a lovely broadcaster. I look forward to hearing that.
He's got a beautiful voice.
Oh, magnificent voice. Yep, he's a beautiful man and a beautiful broadcaster over a long period of time. Well, let's look at the final score coming in from GBSC Sports Park here, and with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Lara Dalton, the member for Geraldton. Chapman Valley 6 goals 15 have defeated Brigade 6 goals 4 in what's been described as a very big game and a very good game. And Chapman Valley, they've got their first premiership points of the year. They've had some, looking at the scoreboard, 21 scoring shots to 10, so I guess they had a fair bit of the ball, and they just had enough, Peter, to get over the line. So final scores at GBSC Sports Park in a thriller. Chapman Valley 6-15 have defeated Brigade 6 goals 4.
It's interesting to see the premiership table because we've had split rounds, Glenn, this week and last week, and I think it should see that Railways possibly will go to the top of the premiership table with this big percentage win.
Because they played 2 games.
Chapman Valley maybe in second spot and Northampton third.
Yeah, that's right. And Railways, as you say, they played the 2 games, whereas Towns played last week and had the bye this week. And it'll be, I would think, no, Towns will still be above Chapman Valley because they had superior percentage. Chapman Valley, their margin wasn't as big as what Towns was. But, yeah, good start to the year. So we've got winners.
Course, sorry, I forgot about Towns. Yeah. So it'll be...
it'll be Railways, Towns,
Northampton,
Chapman Valley.
Chapman Valley, yeah.
And yet to open their account, we have Rovers and Mullawar and Brigades. So that's how it is. So, of course, next weekend is round 3 of the GNFL Premiership season for Bubbles, Plumbing and Gas. Next weekend, Northampton...
Does a good job, Bubbles. Have these boys around my place quite a bit.
Yeah, so Northampton play Brigades. That's at Percher International Oval, so that'll be a good contest. Chapman Valley play Mullawar at Mazzacali Oval, and Rovers play Towns at Greenock Oval. That's our broadcast match of the day. But as you heard, it's full time here in our match of the day from Red Dust Holdings Recreation Ground, and a good win to Railways. Railways are 18 goals 10, which is 118, and they've defeated their opponents today, Rovers, who are 7-7. 49. So a good solid win there from the Railways side. So a good performance. So winners today in GNFL football. We've seen Chapman Valley get over the top of Brigades in a thriller at GBSC, and we're seeing Railways far too good for Rovers. Railways 18-10 have defeated Rovers 7-7, and you're tuned to Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football.
Today's Rendo Valley Motor